Welcome to the podcast of the impossible. I'm Peter Wood, and my guest this week is my mentalist buddy Willard, who is allergic to lettuce.
It's not even the full list.
No, but that's the one I'm hung up on the most. So, lettuce is mostly water.
Yeah.
Why are you allergic to water? Defend yourself. What is going on? That doesn't make any sense to me.
You'll have to go talk to my immunologist about
Okay,
that.
okay.
All
right.
It's not a life. I don't have to carry an EpiPen because of lettuce.
Okay, that's fair.
It's not going to put me. I'm not going to die. But I'm going to have the runs.
Yeah, well, I feel like it needs
and I
to be.
might break out a little bit.
There should be a spectrum. I agree. Like one end is an EpiPen. And the other end, one end is my throat will close up for sure. And then the other end of it is my stomach will feel a little rough later today. And there's this whole continuum in the middle.
Which most people, you want lettuce because you want your stomach to be, it's roughage. The idea is, that's why, have that extra salad instead of whatever else. But with me, it's more, it's a real sensitivity.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I just avoid it.
Yeah.
It's the same with coffee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, coffee's the same, which again, like lettuce, most people, it does move you.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, coffee, that I feel like those are all on opposite. I guess they're both doing similar things gastrointestinally at the other end.
But it's not caffeine.
Yes, yeah.
And so that's a distinction, right?
Gotcha.
I can still have, fortunately, I can still have an energy drink.
That's right.
I'll have some right now.
All right, that's good. For good. This is why people tuned in. They wanted to hear about allergies and gastrointestinal adventures and a little bit of energy drinking. So that's good. So I think all things we're qualified to talk about.
I never doubt that what we might talk about could go to toilet humor or toilet stories.
I don't think we're
but
not
I didn't
above
know
that.
we were going to do that while we're recording. But hey, that's Hey.
I think variety is important, and I think if you're just too highfalutin NPR the whole time,
variety is not real important. It's undesirable in the bathroom. I will tell you.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. All right. I guess I should have specified where. I think variety as podcast content. But maybe not variety once you go visit the haunted mansion.
But we shouldn't record this podcast in the bathroom.
Probably not for the acoustics. First of all, and there's only one chair right now. I would have to bring in another place to sit down. Yeah.
So a group of my friends, we would have lunch regularly.
Okay.
And we called it the show because we would just talk about whatever. And we said, well, what if we actually were to turn this into some type of a recorded something or other?
Sure.
What will we talk about it? And well, there's no common theme.
Yeah,
it's just us having lunch and talking about whatever.
Yeah.
And so the idea was we were going to call it talking shit. And we were going to sit on toilets, like in the middle of a field, not actually in a bathroom.
Oh, nice.
But we put a ring of toilets around and sit on the toilet throw and just talk shit.
I like that. That's basically Seinfeld, right?
Yeah,
like it's a show about nothing. It's a show about nothing or everything, depending on how you. Yeah.
We talked about that.
That's funny, and that's good. I like the branding part of it. Like you can sort of picture. Yeah.
There's a lot of ways you could go.
Is that a joke? Is that a pitch joke? Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Just want to make sure we
just take this. We'll just keep going.
We'll hang a lantern on that. We're just going to rebrand this podcast like that. I'm just going to take that idea and run with it.
How far can you go? How many ways can you go?
Even
title of this episode.
Even saying "run with it" scares me, so I'm gonna move on. I do have something a combative and argumentative that I want to talk to you about. I'm gonna tease that now.
Sounds like all of our conversations.
Yeah, but I'm gonna.
Is this about Bill and Lemon?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not actually.
Go ahead.
I want to talk a little bit first about Renaissance magic. Renaissance festival magic, not specifically Leonardo da Vinci Renaissance. But you and I both enjoy the Renaissance Festival. We are very lucky here in Maryland to have a what I believe is one of the best in the country.
Definitely.
Based on only going to one other one. But from what I also hear from the performers who travel around and go to a variety of them, ours in Maryland, we're lucky to have one that's particularly large and well-themed and has a lot of variety and stuff. The very first time that my family and I went, I loved it so much that we came home and I wanted to do our own Renaissance festival.
And you were how old?
Maybe 12 ish. Yeah. Plus or minus. And so with my family's help, we did a Renaissance Festival day, and I put together like shows with my friends, and we made like stew in advance, and everyone ate. I wasn't able to figure out the bread bowl thing, so we just had like chunks of, but it was also sort of the running gag where my family was scared to take me places. Because I would come home from Disney World and I would want to like make all of that in the basement or the backyard, or I would come home from whatever theme park it was, or whatever, even like a vacation sort of thing. I sort of always, I wanted to replicate that at our place. And
sounds like me in the circus.
Okay,
that would take us wildly off topic.
Well, I mean, we all right, put a pin in that. We'll have our circus episode. What do you like about the Renaissance Festival in particular? Is there anything about like the magic there or that's appealing to you?
Well, recently the magic I've seen at the Renaissance festivals that I've been to, no names, no festivals to be mentioned, but the magic was not appealing. It was not.
I mean, we're talking about Johnny Fox. I mean, when we're talking about magic, we have to go back in time to when we both saw Johnny Fox.
Johnny Fox. Yeah. No better act than Johnny Fox.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to segue into what's fun about the Renaissance Festival. It's a variety of entertainment.
Yeah.
It's a willful suspension of disbelief. You walk into this, even different from a themed park like a Disney Worlds of Fun or a Busch Gardens Worlds of Fun. That's very Kansas City specific.
That's all right.
But different from that, sometimes not even permanent buildings, certainly no roller coasters, right?
Yep.
And so you willfully go and bring your family, and you can dress up as a patron or just be a patron if you wish.
Sure.
And completely suspend disbelief. And there's a variety of things to do, from jousting and do and see, from jousting to chainmail,
right?
To all the things and the fun foods.
Sure. Yep. I'm mostly there to eat and drink in between sitting and watching shows. I mean, that's part of the fun.
Well, and part of the watching shows is you don't even have to go to one of the scheduled stage shows. Just watch the people.
Yep. Yeah. Sure.
And the interaction and people playing and having fun. And some of those, the paid actors, or the staff actors. Some Renaissance festivals, it's not paid, because they're smaller. But also what you would call the patrons who play along or come dressed in garb and do their thing.
Yeah.
Fun.
No, I think part of what I appreciate in particular about a Renaissance Festival act is there's a certain purity of, there are no lights, sound, there's no music, there's no lasers and fog and set pieces. Like, I love when somebody, it's the closest that we are going to get to vaudeville, I think.
Yes, I think so.
Because it's this awesome, bare bones, I'm going to walk out on stage with a small trunk of stuff and I'm going to entertain you for 20 or 30 minutes. And there is also a sort of, a lovely intimacy of, because there's no lighting. You and I have both been in situations where you walk out on stage and you've got these bright lights in your face. And so maybe you see the first couple of rows, but then beyond that, you're just hoping that there are people out there and you can hear them every now and then. But there's
it's not
something
like that at all. It's raw and real and connected.
Yeah.
Generally not even, well, it depends on where you are, but sometimes the stage is even at the same level as the front row, which I love. Yeah. As you know.
No, it's and even like the heckler rules are somehow different. It's almost, the atmosphere is kind of sort of set up for a level of banter.
Very inviting for that.
And I do feel like the people who perform on those stages are exceptional at that, because it is banter. It's not just like, I know stand-up comedians who are fantastic at shutting down a heckler, like somebody who's interrupting your comedy show, all sorts of lines and bits of things for getting them to be quiet. but it's a lot harder. Like I was listening to another podcast where they recently said like the hardest heckle ever is someone shouting out, "I love you," because any way that you then try to silence that person makes you seem like a jerk. And I do feel like there's this the Renaissance patrons come to sort of expect a back and forth kind of a thing, you know.
I had a response to the "I love you" back when I used to sing gospel music, but that's a different episode.
Okay, right.
And the thing about it, I mean, Maryland Renaissance Festival. Mm-hmm. For the most part, being an exception. They're a higher level. They have the higher paid acts. They have some great acts. But if you go to some of the smaller festivals, it runs the gamut from people who are really, really talented and literally can just stand there and entertain you for 20 minutes, almost like a street show.
Yeah, sure.
And they compel you to watch with no production value.
Yeah. Yep. Sure.
And then it runs the gamut to people who are just getting started, who have some raw talent, but it's not honed yet.
Yeah.
To people who just really should do something else.
Oh yeah.
And, and some of the smaller festivals, they don't get paid. It is like a street show. They just pass the hat.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I love going to the Renaissance Festival.
Yeah.
All of them.
No, it's great fun, and I think there is the sort of we have visited the Pennsylvania Renaissance Festival, and I like it for different reasons. It's a funny sort of trade-off of they have paved paths, and honestly, like there is no question that is divisive. Like I appreciate that in terms of how dirty my feet are at the end of the day, but there is something, the suspension of disbelief
different
when you go off in the woods of Crownsville, Maryland,
changes everything.
And you do not see evidence of electricity.
That's great.
And you don't see,
it's beautiful.
And it's very, aside from the people in modern garb holding cell phones, it really does help to transport you.
I have a great picture on my phone. Actually, my screensaver is from the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. God Save the Queen.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
It's my screensaver.
I've seen that before. Yeah.
And then I have another picture on here that I keep from the Maryland Renaissance Festival, right at sunset. And I'm stay till the close, and it's sunset going down, and it's it's beautiful. There's no place like that anywhere.
Yeah.
Where you can escape reality in such a real way.
Yeah.
And like so many different types of people just mesh together.
Yeah. No,
your income doesn't matter. Your social status doesn't matter. Everybody's just there to have to escape for a little while reality.
Right.
And not in the Disney way. That's a totally different experience.
Yeah.
But in a totally different way. It's hard to describe.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I love both for very different reasons. It is fun. Like I love my Disney, but yeah.
And the Pennsylvania Renaissance Festival that you're talking about with the paved walks and all of that.
Yeah.
It's sort of a year-round enterprise. They have that castle or whatever. And so the festival isn't all year.
Sure.
But the grounds is used all year for different things. But there's the Pittsburgh Renaissance Festival in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
That is more like with not paved, it's more like the Maryland one.
Okay.
Where it's just kind of in the woods, all dirt, just real interesting.
Yeah.
And then there's the Virginia Renaissance Festival where I worked for a while.
Yeah.
And it's in the spring up near Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Okay.
And it's I'm talking like I'm the expert on Renaissance festivals.
Well, no, we're enthusiasts.
I think that is clear. I want to point that out. We're enthusiasts here.
Yep.
But I did work there at the Virginia Renaissance Festival for quite a few years. I had several of the food booths and some other stuff. And, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to go even if you're working it because it's so different.
I need to get the Virginia one on my radar at some point because I've never been and I would love to go. It's just I would love to try more. And the quest. I know the Minnesota Renaissance Festival is quite good, and that was where Penn and Teller started. I mean, Penn and Teller also played the Maryland one once upon a time, but so many great acts that have gone on to other amazing things have started at that. It's almost like a busking festival or a fringe festival. Like the opportunity to see a bunch of street style performers in one spot is great.
Other than magic, do you have some acts that you like?
I don't want to, single anyone out because no, screw it. I'm going to single two out. And I'll explain why. I am a huge fan of Hilby, the skinny German juggle boy.
So good.
Hilby is great. And my wife and I first saw him on a cruise ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It was a Norwegian cruise line where my wife and I, in our late 20s, early 30s, were very much messing up the age curve of the group. The hot tub was empty at 6 o'clock every night because everyone else was in bed and their dentures were on the desk. Yeah. And Hilby pulls me up on stage. The irony being, here I am on vacation and I don't want to be on stage, but found out later he's doing a bit with not only a unicycle where he needs someone whose bones aren't completely brittle, but he also needs to steal someone's watch. And I happened, I was wearing a watch. What's funny is I don't normally wear a watch, but when I'm on a cruise, and I don't have my phone typically because I'm checked out.
You're
and also,
escape,
but the timing is still important. You're not always, so the irony being I am wearing a watch for, one of the very rare points in my life and he needed to do something with a watch. So we thought that was it. We saw him in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It was great and we enjoyed it. Incredible. And then all of a sudden I find out he's showing up at the Maryland Renaissance Festival and we just had never crossed paths, but then certainly Johnny Fox, fantastic, sword swallower and magician, and also just, a collector of oddities, which in my, current iteration is I'm appreciating even more as sort of as the collector of the impossible. But big shout out also to the London Broil. It's a 3-man juggling team.
Hilarious.
And I think
talented and hilarious.
What bothers me the most about those guys is that I wish that I could do what they do with magic, where especially their last show of the day is a improvised juggling show where they will take suggestions from the audience and they will just try to figure out. I mean, that people will say, "Hey, can you juggle my baby? Can you juggle this? This thing that I found at the, can you juggle the, and you really, not only do you get a chance to see how skilled they are, but it reminds you that what you're seeing is live and is not going to be repeated, and it's happening today just for you. And I just wish I'm jealous because there's so much in magic and mentalism where, we have to do sneaky stuff in advance, or we have to have certain props ready to go. And I just wish that there was a way that we could do that in our work because not only is I think it's a great way to sort of show off your technical skills, but it very much reminds people that this is a live show happening just for you right now. Great.
I mean, it's what we want to create. It's what we wish we could create every time.
Yeah.
We tried to.
But, I think so.
But with juggling, you're right. There's that freedom to just be a little more improvisational.
Yeah. And also a failure. I mean, sometimes I've seen them attempt to juggle things and it did not go well, but I appreciate that they tried and that again made it perhaps all the more special. So, I know that we shared a lot of common favorites.
Well, the thing that's great about the Renaissance Festival, you'll see everything from, you can even see like dog acts, people with their, their dogs from, and to whatever. One of my favorite, I like everyone you've mentioned, and we're being very, I think we would both consider, if you're a Rennie, you would know that there is you have your home fair. And I would say Maryland would qualify as our home fair.
Yeah.
But the, Hey Nunny Nunny.
Oh yes,
the nuns. I love Hey Nunny Nunny. They're just so fantastic, hilarious. That counseling session.
Yes, that's great.
So fun, and the 5 constipated men. Back to our bathroom here.
Yes. Okay.
But I was this couple weeks ago. I'm trying to remember how long ago it was.
Okay.
I ended up going back to Missouri. I was there for some and had a couple meetings. down south.
Okay.
But I did go up north and made it to the Kansas City Renaissance Festival for their 45th season.
Nice.
And
wow.
Absolutely fantastic. A lot of fun. And they had also some great acts there, but not necessarily ones that make it here. So, but the same themes are there. You've got everything from magic to just comedians to jugglers to, sword swallowers.
Yeah.
And it's just great.
Yeah. No, I would love, I appreciate, we're lucky that the Maryland one brings it a good variety. It's got to be so hard finding it's the same. Disney has this problem as well. Like, people want it to be the same and different all the time.
Yes.
I want to go back and I want to see my favorites year after year, and I want to see new things. And that's just not possible just because of the logistics of space and everything. So, I appreciate that Maryland does a great job of mixing it up, and also sort of very cleverly, they'll do things where, for example, this season we couldn't see Hilby and London Broil on the same day. And I don't think they're doing that to try and get my money twice, although it does have that effect.
It worked.
Many years.
It worked if that's what they wanted.
Yeah, but I think it's mostly just, all right, well, we're going to try to get as many of these acts in here as possible, and maybe if they're not there for the whole run,
Well, I just, in honor of Johnny Fox, just had some water from India.
Yes, I have this imported straight from India, not Costco, certainly not. I wanted to get into an argument, and we don't have time. We ran out of time this episode. I think that we should record another episode, and the next time that some people tune in and they see that Willard is going to be talking, then maybe we'll argue about something, or maybe it'll fizzle. I don't actually know, but I didn't mean to tease it, but I figure I want to, I billboarded it, so now it's just going to have to be a tease.
At some point, we will have an argument, and maybe we'll catch it on tape.
Tune in, yeah, absolutely, yes.
Maybe. Well, okay.
It's only. I think all of our arguments. I think people would probably tune out to most of our arguments because of how ridiculously, like, who cares? No, it's not like it's literally. And again, that's why I love arguing about art.
People would be fascinated about our argument over Jason Sudeikis. I know that for.
That's probably true. That's probably true. We'll have to talk about. All right, so there you go. Is that too? That wasn't the argument that I was talking about. So, if you would like to, for future episodes of podcast of arguments, you can act. No, for right now, that'd be just art magicians arguing. Willard's social is Willard's Parlor, and that's Parlor with a U, and that's Willard with an S on the end.
Like Renaissance speak. Lords and ladies.
Yes. Yeah.
Step right up here. Do I look ridiculous? That's not real British. It's more Renaissance, like
that's
fake.
True.
That's what I'm going for.
That's true.
That's what I did.
No, it's Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins.
Yes,
it's that kind of British.
Do I look ridiculous?
Yes. HelloWillard.com is the best place to find you on the interwebs. And then if you're curious about where to find me on the social medias,
and why wouldn't they be?
If you're already tuned in, you probably know about it. But when I do public shows, or when you want to see things on social media, or when I am cooking up on my special projects, all of that is going to be over at oftheimpossible.com. I'm Peter Wood.
I'm Willard.
Thanks.
Almost forgot the line again.